Hi, I'm Lisa. Life is indeed like an onion you peel one layer after the other, and sometimes it makes you cry. That's what happened to me when I was 13. My whole life came to a standstill when I was viciously knocked down by uncertainties of life. Imagine yourself not being able to move your body. You can hear and see everything happening around you, but you can't communicate. People come around you, but you can't talk to them. They can't even hug you. You try to give your body orders to blink, shake, laugh, and even cry, but it doesn't obey you. Imagine yourself not being able to say, "I'm hungry, I'm pressed, I'm hurt, I'm cold." I lay lifeless for days, weeks, months, and years, disconnected from the physical world. You might be asking how this happened. Well, that was when I fell off the staircase. I and my twin brother Peter are the only children of my parents. We are of the middle class, and Dad makes sure we are comfortable with his meager paycheck. Dad said it took them 30 years before giving birth to us because Mom had no fallopian tubes, so all hope of Mom getting pregnant in life was lost, and they had to live with it. One day, 3 men visited them. They were hungry and haggard-looking. Then Mom asked them to come in, but they wouldn't. They sat outside. Mom went into the house, made them a nice meal, and they ate their fill. Then Dad asked them to come in the second time. They did and left after a while. After 7 days, Mom became pregnant and finally gave birth to me and my twin brother, Peter. Dad said our birth changed a lot of things. It seems as if there was this separation between him and Mom. They no longer do things together as husband and wife. Mom no longer contributes to running of the family. All she cares about was her Peter, day in and day out. But Dad was not like her. He gave us equal love and support, irrespective of our differences. I so much love the only sibling I have in this world. But the love was not returned. All I kept getting from him was a stab, rejection, and gossiping me to Mom. We are not identical twins. We had a lot of character differences likewise in our lifestyle. I love nature and adventure, but my twin does not care for such. He can stay in front of the television all day. Peter is a sadist, but I'm not. Maybe that's why Dad loved being around me, while Mom preferred Peter. Maybe because he looked so much like her. Mom is one of the horrible persons I've ever met in my life. You neither know when she is happy or unhappy. She is always moody. The only thing that makes her happy is whenever she sees Peter. To my mom, I did not exist. But there were things that makes me happy. The presence of my dad in my life was the major thing. I love adventures, and so Dad decided to build an adventure room for me and Peter in the underground of our little home. But Peter was not interested. Even when I was cleaning the room, Peter walked in and laughed mockingly. That was ridiculous. I assisted Dad to decorate the room with different kinds of paintings and a lot of scientific pictures, so the adventure room became another room for me. Another thing that made me happy was the surprise gift Dad got for me on my 13th birthday. That's Rosie, my cat. She is not just a cat, but a companion, a friend, and maybe another twin. I was so happy, I couldn't thank Dad enough. From that day on, I had a companion in Dad's absence. Rosie seems to understand me more than anyone else in the house, including Dad. Whenever Mom and Peter puts on a horror movie and starts making all sorts of noise in the sitting room, I go to the adventure room with Rosie. I can hear him talk to me with his mews, as if he is saying, "Don't worry, I am here. Everything will be all right." On one of such days, I couldn't control myself and I yelled at my twin brother, "Why can't you stop all these noises?" I decided to go to my adventure room. I left with Rosie following me behind the staircase. But I never knew Peter was also running after me. Then Rosie came in front of me, winking her eyes left and right, as if she was telling me something. But I couldn't give her attention because I was walking very fast in anger. Perhaps she was trying to tell me that Peter was behind me. Suddenly, I felt a push and slipped off the staircase. Everywhere became dark. I could see Rosie running around me, not knowing what to do, but I couldn't talk to her. My mom and Peter locked up themselves in their room, abandoned me on the floor. But Rosie lay beside me crying until Dad came home around 11 p.m. He immediately rushed me to the hospital. After a little while, I felt awake. I tried to make a move, but there was no response. Then it dawned on me that I am no longer myself. Oh, how did this happen to me? Am I dead or what? I could feel my body shivering. Suddenly, I heard someone. Wow, if I was able to hear someone, that means I wasn't dead after all. Yes, I heard him, but I couldn't see him. The way he talked made me understand that he's a doctor. He was explaining something to my parents. He told them that I had excess internal bleeding, which was as a result of delay of rushing me to the hospital immediately the accident happened. He said that I will be in this state until God knows when. Oh, I tried to open my eyes, to tell them that I can hear them, but my eyes couldn't move, neither could my mouth. I was devastated that I couldn't do anything. I automatically became a vegetable. How wicked life could be. Just 13 years ago, I had been a free girl who loves her dad, her cat, her career, and as well loves to play. I was happy and lively, but now everything suddenly changed. Doctors were confused. They thought I was completely in a coma. All I could hear was Dad telling me all will be well. As for my twin brother, I never set my eyes on him. Sometimes I wonder if he is really my blood. My mom completely disappeared. The doctor finally announced to Dad that there is nothing to be done. So Dad told him that I am coming home. I was excited to be home, but I felt bad again when Mom warned Dad not to bring me home because I'm going to be a burden to her. But I guess Dad's reason for bringing me home was to make sure I was around things that I love. Back home, I was treated as a non-existing being. But right inside me, I kept telling myself that I am alive. Friends stopped visiting me. Dad's pursuit ran dry because the life support machine that kept me breathing was very expensive. Before now, I could run away from Mom and Peter's noise, but now I can't avoid it. Dad couldn't help it anymore. Rosie was the only one that understands me. She is indeed an extraordinary cat. She feels my pains whenever Mom yells. She will come close to me, touching my hands with her mouth as if to say, "Don't worry, everything will be fine." Before, Dad used to come in to see me 3 times a day and then recharge the life support machine that kept me breathing. Surprisingly, one day, Dad tried removing the socket of the machine. Then Rosie cried out loud. This touched Dad and he left in tears. Rosie always tiptoed into the room at any time of the day looking at me, and I know she is whispering something to me. Months passed by, and it was already 1, 2, 3 years. Dad got tired of me, and Mom complained I was occupying space, so I should be moved to a smaller room. and they transferred me to this small room where nobody was visiting apart from Rosie. This was the only time I saw Peter creep into the room. He looked at me and sighed and banged the door. It was not long I started hearing Christmas songs that told me it was Christmas again. I couldn't even celebrate. But in my subconscious mind, I was thanking God for another new year. And I was 17 this time because I was able to guess every period of the yearly celebration. Mom celebrated with her friends, making noise and smoking. Their noise became more unbearable for me. So Dad moved me to a clinic where nurses can take care of me. I saw Dad talking to the nurses. Who knows what Dad is telling them, I thought. I felt he was telling them to allow him to bring Rosie to stay with me. I felt a little relief as I saw Dad carry Rosie to sit beside me. At this time, I couldn't remember anything. I couldn't remember my crave for sciences, nor the moments I played with friends or the adventure room. But one picture kept appearing to me is Rosie's picture. She is my best friend. She is always close by me. So I decided to create my own world in my subconscious state. In this world, Rosie was my companion. We did a lot of things together. We went to school, shopping, restaurants, and played together. There were also these other two persons that joined our world. Perhaps they could be some victim of people in the coma state. Another 6 years went by, and I remembered not seeing Dad for a whole year. Well, I never cared about the physical world anymore because I was enjoying the new world I created. But one day Dad came by. I saw him weeping with my best flower, a rose flower, in his hands. He also bought me a science kit and some other things which he decorated my bed with. Then I could hear him say, "Happy 20th birthday, my angel." Dad left the room angrily. Then Rosie picked one of those rose flowers Dad had kept and brought it close to my nose. My goodness! I perceived it and smiled at her. She screamed in excitement. She kept screaming. That her scream attracted the doctors and nurses. By the time they arrived, my eyes were open. The resident doctor was surprised. He said he has never recorded any case as this since his 30 years of practice in the medical field. Gradually, I began to regain consciousness. I was not angry when the doctors told me that I cannot move my legs anymore because my spinal cord was affected badly. Although it took me time before I accepted to be confined to the wheelchair. After all, God gave me life, so I am grateful to Him. Before I was discharged from the hospital, my mom came, begging that I forgive her attitude towards me, just that she never liked to have a baby girl. But now she has realized her mistakes. Peter was crying and feels guilty for pushing me down. He confessed that he was acting out of the influence of Mom. Who am I not to forgive them? What if I died? I wonder if I will be here. God forgave me and gave me a new life, so I forgave them. And I was glad to reunite with my family again.